Okay, we're going to graph a slightly different type of equation, which is going to be the equation the square root of x to the fourth minus 3x to the third plus 2x squared minus 1, and that's going to be equal to 0. So to graph this, you're going to go to y equals, just clear out anything that you have there already. And to get to your square root sign, you're going to go second, and then right above x squared, you'll see a little square root sign, square root. You're going to type in the rest of the equation inside of the parentheses. So x to the fourth power minus 3x to the third plus 2x to the second minus 1, and we're going to close these original parentheses that were around the square root. I'm going to graph this in the standard viewing window, so I'm going to hit zoom and then scroll down to Z standard and hit enter. Okay, so remember I want to see where the graph crosses my x-axis, but if I look kind of closely, it doesn't seem like it crosses the x-axis. So I want to get a little bit closer. Instead of using a zoom view, I'm going to change the window settings. So I'm going to go to the window, and I'm just going to change my x-min and x-max so that I can see a little bit more closely. So I'm going to set my x-min to a -4 and my x-max to a +4. Keep my same scale of 1, and I'm going to change my y-min to a -5 and my y-max to a +5. And that way I can still see that scale, and hopefully I'll be able to see my whole graph. So I'm going to press graph and see what it shows me. So I get even closer and I can still see that the graph does not cross the x-axis. So the reason why that is because of your square root sign. But I know that this graph has zeros. There are ways that this equation can equal 0. So I'm going to go back to y equals, and instead of graphing the square root of the equation, I'm going to take away the square root and just plot what's inside of my square root sign. So I'm going to graph the equation x to the fourth power minus 3x to the third plus 2x to the second minus 1. And so this equation will have the same exact zeros that the square root of it will have. Because I'm looking for, if I'm taking the square root, I'm looking for when what's inside is equal to 0. So I'm going to hit graph, and remember it'll save that same viewing window that I had before. And so now I can see where that graph crosses the x-axis. And so to get those 2 points, I'm going to go to my calc function. So I'm going to hit second and then calc and scroll down to 0. Remember, it's going to ask me for a left bound and a right bound. So if I'm going for this first intersection point, for this first 0, I want to go to the left of it and hit enter, and then to the right and hit enter. And it's going to ask me to guess. I'll hit enter again. And I get that one of my zeros is at x equals -0.513. I want to do the same for the other 0, see where it crosses on the other side. So I'm going to hit second, then calc, scroll down to 0, hit enter. I'm going to be choosing a left bound for the second 0. So right around here should work, hit enter. And then I'm going to choose a right bound, hit enter again to guess. And it gives me that my second 0 is at x equals 2.179. And those are my 2 zeros for my original equation, considering the square root as well. And so those would be my solutions to this problem.